In the ancient age of Treta Yuga, when the fragrance of Dharma still floated in the air, but the shadow of arrogance had begun to lengthen, there lived a sage known for his blazing wrath and unshakable devotion, Parashurama, the sixth avatar of Lord Vishnu. He was born in the ashram of Rishi Jamadagni and Mata Renuka, growing up amidst trees that whispered mantras and rivers that carried the truth of the Vedas. Though a Brahmin by birth, he was unlike any before. His spirit carried a warrior's fire, and his hands were destined to wield the divine Parashu, the axe gifted by Lord Shiva himself. Peace dwelled in the ashram, but beyond its boundaries, the world trembled. For across Bharatavarsha, many of the Kshatriya kings, blessed with strength and valor, had allowed pride to overtake duty. Power clouded their judgment. The weak suffered. Greed ruled. Kingdoms burned, and oppression rose like smoke into the heavens. The gods looked down with worry, but destiny had already chosen its hand. Among all kings, the most feared was Kartavirya Arjuna, ruler of the Hayaheya dynasty. Blessed with 1,000 arms by Lord Dattatreya, he was unmatched in power, but also unmatched in arrogance. One day, he arrived at Jamadagni's ashram with his vast army. Yet the sage, with the power of his penance, hosted him with divine hospitality. The Gamaladanu Surabhi, a celestial cow, created endless food and gifts for the king's men. Instead of gratitude, greed took root. Kartavirya Arjuna's eyes shone with desire. This cow belongs in the palace of a king, not in a hermit's hut, he declared. With force, he seized Kamadhenu. When Parashurama returned and saw the ashram desecrated and his father insulted, fury ignited in him. His breath grew heavy. The earth beneath him shivered. With the divine axe raised high, he challenged the 1,000-armed king. The battle shook mountains. Parashurama moved like a storm, Kartavirya Arjuna like a thundercloud. But one divine purpose cannot be defeated by misplaced might. With a final stroke, Parashurama cut down the tyrant. But destiny was not done. Kartavirya's sons, burning with hatred, sought revenge. When Parashurama was away, they attacked Jamadagni's ashram. The sage was performing his rituals, unarmed, yet they struck him down. When Mata Renuka found her husband lifeless, she wailed, "Rama, look what the Kshatriyas have done! They have destroyed Dharma itself!" Her cry reached her son like the roar of a wounded universe. Parashurama fell to his knees beside his father's body. Tears fell, but they turned to flames upon touching the earth. He took the 7 vows of vengeance. Not once, not twice, but 21 times shall I rid the earth of unrighteous Kshatriyas, one for each wound on father's sacred body. The cosmos shuddered. What followed was unlike anything the world had seen. Parashurama traveled from kingdom to kingdom, not as a tyrant, not as a conqueror, but as the restorer of Dharma. Wherever a Kshatriya king ruled with justice, Parashurama bowed and blessed him. But wherever oppression, cruelty, or arrogance stained the throne, he raised his divine axe. The earth became his battlefield. The heavens witnessed his wrath. War after war, cycle after cycle, 21 times he cleansed the land. Not a blade of grass was cut needlessly, but no sword of injustice was spared. Rivers turned red and then clear again. The kingdoms burned and then healed. The cries of the oppressed were replaced by chants of peace. In time, Parashurama gathered the blood of the fallen kings and poured it into a vast lake known as Samanta Panchaka, sanctifying the land. The cycle of destruction was complete, and with it, a new age began. After fulfilling his vow, Parashurama did not celebrate. His heart felt heavy with the weight of his own fury. To restore balance, he performed a great yajna and donated the entire earth, every piece of land he had won, to the sages. This act symbolized the return of harmony. He then retreated to the mountains, choosing the path of penance over the sword. Even though kings rose and fell through ages, the legend remained. When dharma is wounded, when arrogance replaces duty, Parashurama shall rise again. Unlike other avatars, Parashurama is Chiranjeevi, immortal. He appears across ages. He teaches young warriors, including Bhishma, Drona, and Karna. He witnesses the Ramayana, where Lord Rama breaks the bow of Shiva. He watches Dharma evolve through eras. Yet the divine axe remains with him, not as a weapon of destruction, but as a reminder of his mission. The story of Parashurama is not one of blind violence. It is the story of duty, righteous anger, justice against tyranny, the balance between strength and compassion, and above all, even the greatest warrior must know when to fight and when to lay down the weapon.